What's up? Welcome back. In this episode, we're going to build a little chatbot using Ruby, Rails, and Turbo Streams, and it'll feel somewhat like ChatGPT. So let's start off by generating a controller and a little model here. So I'm just going to say Rails G controller chats, and that's going to have an index method and a show method. We are going to also have a create, but this should give us a good start. We're also going to have a model called a chat, and this will just have a session ID. For now, it's just going to be some like random string. So that should be fine. So create chats. This is going to be null false. Okay. And then in our chats, or our chat model, we can say before validation on create do, and we'll set our session ID equal to secure random .hex, and we'll make it 10 or something. Okay. And the next step is in our chats controller here, we're just going to have chats return chat.all. No, there's no like users or anything, so that's fine. And then instead of find, we're going to use find by, and we'll pass in that session ID, and that'll just make it so that we don't have like auto incrementing numeric number attacks, but it won't really matter since you'll be able to see them all here anyways. Okay, in our routes file, we want to add resources chats. So now we need to Rails DB migrate the database, and we should be able to see /chats now. Yeah. Okay, we got chats. It looks gross, but that's fine. Now we can go to our one of these index pages and just grab that chats index. Super easy, boring, no need to reinvent the wheel. And here we'll just call this like chats with me. I don't know, kind of funky, but whatever. The idea is I want to be able to talk to myself, my past self, and remember things. Okay, articles.each. I'm just going to change articles to chats. And that's funny. This one became chat. That should be article. Same with this one. And chats with me. Some of my long form thoughts on programming and whatever. I don't know. Maybe we'll add a subheading later. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll add pagination later. Okay. So for each of these chats, we'll just print out chat.session ID, and then we'll have some button at the top. We'll just say create chat, and the method will be post, and data, we'll turn off turbo for this one. And let's see if Copilot wants to write some classes for us here. And yeah, sure. Okay. I don't know if we needed all that, but that looks good. Okay. All right. And there's no params or anything. We just have like this button here. I guess it didn't actually look like anything special. Okay, when we click on create chat, it should send a post request to the chats controller in the create method. And we want to create a new chat. So we're going to say @chat is chat.create bang, and then redirect to chat path based on the session ID. Sure. Okay, let's see if this does its thing. It does not. Why not? Create it, network tab, what's going on here? Let's preserve the log. And when we click on this, it is sending a request. It's sending a GET request. I thought we said method post. Oh, it needs a, it needs a path. Chats path. I think that should work. All right, where is it going? There we go, create chat, boom. All right, now we're landing on the chat show page. So let's go to article show, and we'll rip that off. Chat show, and we'll paste it in here. Actually, the chat show is going to be similar to the index. So chat index. Gosh, we're just like copying and pasting a bunch of HTML, but that's fine. Chat, and then maybe we'll print out @chat.session ID so that we can see what's up. Okay, chats.each. And then in here, we want to iterate over some chat messages. So for now, we'll just kind of like delete this, and we'll just say messages go here. Okay, so this is going to be our chat show page. We don't need a button to create a new chat anymore. And this is just going to be our list of messages here. Okay, the way that we're going to store messages is in the database. So Rails G model chat message. That is going to refer back to the chat object, and then it will have some content and a role. So the role is really for ChatGPT to know, like, is this a system message, assistant message, or user or function? We're not going to do anything with functions, but create chat messages. This should be like default to maybe user or something. We'll create an enum for this, and we'll just use it as a string. Okay, Rails DB migrate. All right, we'll migrate that. And we want to generate another controller. And this one's going to be called the chat messages controller. The chat messages controller will be purely for creating messages. And before we go too far, we need to add it to our routes file. So we'll say chat messages only. Yeah, only create. Sure. Yeah, it's listening to me. Wouldn't that be so cool? Chat message params. Yeah, we're actually just going to take in the content. Okay, so we're going to say at chat is chat.find params chat ID. And then on the chat show page here, we're going to create a new, form. And this form will just be old school vanilla form. Method is going to be post. Action is going to be chat messages. And let's see, we're going to have a input that is hidden for our authenticity token. And the value is going to be this Ruby method that comes from Rails, form authenticity token. We're going to have a text area where the name is chat message content. And that should be a good start. Okay, and then maybe we'll have our like button type is submit, and we'll have a send. Cool, that looks good. And then maybe we should copy, I don't know. Let's see if it can write the CSS for us again here. Copilot, no, I want it to look like the other one. button primary is not going to work. All right, Tailwind UI, we'll go grab some buttons. Okay, button, well, let's grab this middle one here. I almost always do. Okay, and then my color is teal, so I'm going to switch indigo for teal and just see how that looks. Okay, we've got something going on here. The text area, we need to sauce this up a bit. So let's go back over here and grab a text area. Okay. And it just needs to look just like a simple text area. That would be wonderful. And we'll add that there. Okay. So now we've got a text area, we've got a button. We'll change indigo back to teal again, and we'll give this some space. Okay, looking pretty good. So we're going to stick our messages here. So when we say messages go here, we're actually going to say like at chat messages.each do message. And I want to use a partial, so I'm going to render a partial here called chat messages chat message. That looks fantastic. Then I also want to make this div, I want to give this div an ID so that we can target it with turbo streams later. So we're going to say this, the ID here is chat messages underscore, and then the ID of the chat at chat.id. That way, anytime that we are adding new messages, we can just like pop them into this div here. So if we refresh, chat doesn't have that association yet. Chat, and we're gonna have to say like has many chat messages. I think that should work, right? Chat has, yeah, belongs to and has many. Okay, sweet. When we create a new message, this should send a post request to the chat messages endpoint, and maybe it did, but we didn't get any feedback because our create method doesn't actually do anything. So we want to create a new chat message. If the chat message .save, then we want to render with a turbo stream. So here we're going to say render turbo stream. That's a format that we're going to send back. And we want to append to that chat messages div that we created. So we're going to say chat messages underscore and then the ID of @chat. And the partial we want to render is the chat message partial. Those are the locals. That looks pretty good. If we weren't able to save for some reason, then we're just going to say like render JSON of @chat message.errors and then say it was unprocessable, whatever. Like that should be fine. Okay, let's test this again. And we get nothing, no feedback, no errors, no nothing. All right, check the server logs. What do we got here? Record not found. Can't find chat without ID. We're trying to find the chat by params chat ID, but we don't even have that over here. So we need an input type of hidden with the name chat ID, and the value is going to be @chat.id. Okay, all right, cool. All right, now if we say test, crashed. We're missing the partial for the chat messages. Okay, so over here, we're going to add chat message.html.erb into our chat messages views directory. And here we'll just render chat message.content for now. And that should be a good start. Boom, test 2, test 3, 4. Okay, couple errors or like issues. When we click send, it's not clearing out the form. So we'd have to like refresh the page to clear it out. Clear me. So if we click send, it's creating messages, but it's not clearing out the form until we hit send. Send. So let's use stimulus client side to clear that out on submit. So we'll say Rails G stimulus chat message form. And inside of our chat message form controller, stimulus controller, we'll make a method here called reset. And this will just say like this.element.reset on the form. So then if we go back to our chat show where we have our form down here, we will load up the data controller is going to be chat message form, and on turbo submit end our chat message form reset. Okay, I think that should work. So let's say boom. Okay, so now it's clearing it out and our messages are getting added here. To make those look a little nicer, let's grab the sort of like article view from article index, and we'll just grab like the contents of this so that it looks sort of chatty. I don't know, chat message. And okay, so instead of article anywhere, actually, yeah, I think we can take out, well, let's make this the role, the chat message role. No, do we want to do that? No. All right, we're just going to blow away the header. And then we have, we don't need the link to go read the article. And this should just be like chat message.content here. And then the long date will be the chat message.created at. And I don't know if we need that one either. All right, let's just see what we get here. All right, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. What does this one give us? Chat message.created at. Okay, that's kind of nice being able to see that. I like that. That's cool. Okay, so now we've got these messages. They're going through. They're a little bit fat or like tall, but whatever. I think that's fine. So now if we add a new message, it just appears there. Okay, so now we've got sort of a UI that doesn't jump around as we're adding things to it. The next step is to talk to OpenAI. Because we're storing all of the messages with a given conversation, so if we went back to like chats or whatever, and that exploded. Okay, so chats index. This is expecting there to be a bunch of stuff. Okay. I don't know, did that fix it? No, display summary. We'll just make that also like messages.first.content.truncate 100 or something. I don't know. Chat messages. Okay, and there might not be one, so we'll say like, you know, if there's not one, then don't do the thing. Cool. So now we've got like this read chat thing. Undefined method session ID. So does our link is probably going to, yeah, okay. So let's go back here and make it so that our link goes to the one that has the ID. Great. And if we create a new one, cool. Now we have this like blank slate, you know, long ago something happened. Okay, great. But we want to send this to OpenAI. And I think we want to do it in a background job so that it doesn't take forever for the controller to respond. There are ways to do the streaming thing with the OpenAI Ruby gem, and we can look at that in a future episode. But for now, we're going to say Rails G job chat message created. And in the chat message created job, we're going to take in the new message. And what we want to do here is we want to like collect the messages for this chat. We want to send those to OpenAI. And then we want to, send the response back to chat. Now, before we do any of that, we can tell the chat like, oh, we're thinking of a response or something. But yeah, we can do that later. So we'll say at chat message is chat message. And what are the messages that we want to send? So the messages are going to be at chat message dot chat messages dot order by created at ascending or something. I think we want them in order. And then we want to map over those. And for each one, we want to create a message in the format that OpenAI is expecting. So in the API reference for creating a new chat completion, the messages request body needs a couple of things, content and the role. So thankfully we have skillfully crafted our chat message object to also have content, m.content, and role being m.role. And inside of our chat message, we can also just like add an enum here if we wanted. But for now, I think we're fine. By default, the role is going to be user, and then otherwise we're going to set it to system. Okay, so that is the messages. So we'll do that here. And then we want to send those to OpenAI. So I already have a summarization job that has a couple things, one of them being reference to an OpenAI client, another one being how to actually send this. So this is an example. In fact, we'll grab this whole thing here and we'll just plop it in there. Okay, so we're going to use GPT 3.5 Turbo. The messages that we're going to send is just going to be messages, and we'll turn the temperature here to, I don't know, 0.9, sure, I don't know. And then this is the response that we're going to get back. And I think here we want to create a new chat message with the response. Yeah, actually, did it hear me again? Create a new chat message with the response. Okay, so we're going to say chat message.create. The role now is system, and the content is going to be the answer. Okay, whoops. All right, so now we have a new like system message. And we need some way to send that back into the chat, right? Back into the same chat. Also, we need the chat that this thing is related to, which we can grab from that instance variable that we set earlier. Okay, so I think what we want to do is broadcast. So we want to do like a Turbo Streams channel broadcast append to the chat messages, chat message, chat ID. Okay, that is going to be the div that matches our chat show, that matches this div ID right here. I think. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. turbo stream from, it could also be this. Is it this? Or is it this? I don't remember. Oh, you know what? This is our target. And why am I second guessing? I don't know. This is now, okay. Okay. We also need a target. So this first one is the streamable thing, right? The target is going to be chat messages, chat message ID. This is what we're going to append to, right? Append is show up at the bottom. And then what we want to render is the partial for chat message, chat message. And we need the locals, in this case, to be the system message that we just talked about. Okay, cool. Rails C. Let's just try and throw a message at it. So chat message created job.perform now with chat message.last. And I think this might be, okay, something crashed. What do we got going on here? Undefined method UTC for nil class. Perform start active job event, blah, blah, blah. Hey, we got some content back. That changed the course of history, la da da. Okay, so we got some content back, but it did not actually update the page, and we needed to refresh. Broadcasting to chat messages to with append, chat messages to blah, blah, blah. Why was this upper part so sad? It looks like it could not log perform start date active job, no method UTC for nil class. What is this about? No idea. Okay, first of all, I want to make sure that we're not getting too many tokens. So we'll say max tokens, 150. That should be fine for now. And then in our controller, chat messages controller, after we create our message and save it to the database, I want to kick off this job that will be performed later for that chat message. So if we refresh the page here and we say like, tell me why apple pie is so good. Boom, send. Okay. Now, oh, boom. All right. Apple pie is considered delicious for a variety of reasons. Boom. So it showed up, but it kind of surprised me and I didn't know like what was going on, right? Like we had no feedback. Feedback is important, right? When you type into ChatGPT, it starts spitting stuff out for you. It streams the response back. We're not going to do that right now, but it starts streaming it like one character or block or chunk or whatever at a time. And so what I think we want to do is refactor our job here so that it gives people feedback, and by people I mean me, feedback as it's going. So let's flip this whole thing on its head, and we're going to do something a little different. What we're going to do is we're going to create the message first. We're going to create this new system message first. And the reason is that what we're going to do is we're going to broadcast this append to immediately, right when the job is being performed. We're going to broadcast this append. Now in the content to start out, we can just say thinking, right? Now the tricky part is later when we get the answer back, we want to broadcast a replace that will update the message sort of in place. And that we can do by saying all of this. The target this time is now going to be chat message singular. And this will be the message ID for the system message. So the reason we actually want to like create and save this in the database right now is so that we can target the DOM element on our chat message partial. So let's say this article, if we give it like an ID of chat message.id, then when we render the system message the first time, this ID should match the system message ID. And then later on, when we broadcast a replace, we can replace that one. Oh, also because we're passing all of the messages from this conversation, we should be able to say like, how do you bake it? And it should know we're talking about apple pie by saying it because we have the previous messages. Let's see. Okay, we've got a thinking. It tells us that it's doing something. And maybe. Did we explode? Oh, okay, we got it. We got a response back, but it didn't update. Oh, shoot, we forgot a step. Okay, we got to update the response. Imagine that. So system message.update content is the answer. Okay, well, if we refresh the page, it's going to be there, but no, it's not going to be there. All right, let's say like, how do you bake it? Okay, thinking. Boom, to bake apple pie, you'll need the following ingredients. Sick. Okay, so now we have a basic little chatbot using TurboStream's active job, Ruby on Rails, all the good stuff. I think I'm going to throw this endpoint behind username and password, at least for now. And I have been watching lots of content about how to fine tune. So we'll be trying to use our chunks we created in the last episode to go through and fine tune our own GPT 3.5 model based on that content so that when we have a conversation here, it will have the context of all of the content that we've created so far. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Appreciate your time and attention. And yeah, we'll see you online. Cheers.